Following the multitude of allegations that have come out against Diddy recently, it's left everyone looking at the celebrities he hangs around a little differently. But over the past couple of decades, multiple celebrities have actually spoken out against Diddy for a variety of reasons, some of which seem to pertain to the recent allegations. So today we're going to be looking into every celebrity who tried to warn us about Diddy, starting off with 50 Cent. Real quick, I did want to say thank you guys for all the support on the last video. It did super well and we hit 300k, so of course I really appreciate it. And with all the attention I got from the whole Diddy situation, I thought it would be cool to donate a portion of the money that I made from the video to a charity that supports sexual assault victims called the Sojourner House. It's a local charity in my area and they do a lot of cool things like providing shelter, among other things. And if you guys are interested in donating, I recommend Googling a charity near you that does something similar. Or if you don't feel like doing any type of research, you can just check out the one that I donated to. The link is in the description. And again, thank you guys for the support. It's been really great. I really appreciate it. And let's hop back into the video. And I also want to say before we get into the video that a lot of what I'm going to be talking about is just speculation. We don't really know what all these people meant or how much they actually knew when they were talking, and that it's not just a coincidence. But if you're unaware of the actual allegations that Diddy's facing when it comes to lawsuits and the indictment, I made a whole video on that, so feel free to check that out either before or after this one, whichever you please. Yeah, but that's enough yapping, so let's get into the video. 50 Cent has had an on and off beef with Diddy since 2006, and following everything that's happened recently, 50 even said he's making a docu-series on Netflix about Diddy's crimes called Diddy Do It. But in what a lot of people just assume was 50 trolling, 50 has actually said a lot about Diddy over the past couple of decades. Like I said, it started in 2006 when 50 dissed Diddy on the track The Bomb. He said, "Who shot Biggie Smalls? We don't get him. They gonna kill us all. Man, Puffy know who hit that guy." There have always been theories that have suggested that Diddy was involved in the deaths of Biggie and or Pac. Biggie in particular was signed to his Bad Boy Records label, so I'm sure Diddy wasn't a fan of this track. But a year later, 50 and Diddy performed together, so it seemed like they might have been cool again. However, over the years, they go back and forth in songs and online. For example, in 2014, they were talking to each other because they both had alcohol brands. One time, Diddy called 50 a hating ass crap, since 50 also had beef with Rick Ross, and Diddy had just begun managing Rick Ross. Which, by the way, it had me thinking about that one line from Rick Ross's song You Don't Even Know, where he said, "Put Molly all in her champagne, she ain't even know it. I took her home and enjoyed that, she ain't even know it." So if Ross was around Diddy and was saying stuff like this in songs, things that Diddy has been accused of recently, who knows what they're up to. By the way, I'm not trying to accuse Rick Ross of anything, but it's just a little bit of a weird coincidence. Anyways, the main thing that 50 has done over the years is alluded to Diddy being gay or suggesting that he was into some stuff like that.
Now, Fifth, when you continuously call Puff gay, does that affect your relationships in Hollywood?
I don't call him gay. I said,
Let me read it, Fifth.
Oh my God.
Sorry I can no longer help you guys. Soon you will all be gay and happy. You are all now left under leadership of Puffy Daddy. Report to the nearest rainbow. Dinner Thieves in theaters January.
That's why he says things. He doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity. You know what I'm saying? Like, he says something fabulous and he goes, "Yo, but me and you, we ain't party. Like, we need to party." What is he talking about? That's the kind of stuff that when people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable. Like he said something to me one time, a long time ago, at Chris Lighty's wedding. He told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what'd you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You're gonna make me mess up the wedding.
Oh, that's a nice gesture.
Let me get out of no, dude, take me. That's what a guy says to a girl.
And this wasn't the only time that 50 said something like this about Diddy, because he also did it on Drink Champs.
So yo, when we gonna get the chance to, to kick it, like we could just hang out. We gotta kick it.
This is Puff. Okay.
You're telling me we gotta kick it and and he's like, yo, why don't we like go shopping or some shit? I mean, like, I pay for it. And I was like, what the fuck this nigga just say? This is it goes on. But there's a little fruit, Puffy's a fruit pile. It's a fruit pile, trust me. You see these little weird ass pictures and shit like that out there, sitting out there for no reason. Yo, like, you'll see accident pictures with me like kissing and shit. Like that doesn't happen by accident. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Look, later you gonna find out a little shit that I be saying be real.
It's crazy. 50 literally said, later you're gonna find out that a lot of this stuff I'm saying is real. Diddy responded to 50's comments on his own Breakfast Club interview. They first played a clip of him saying some stuff that made him seem gay to see what he meant.
I was coming off of being in Miami a night of party, and I don't really remember what I was saying. You know what I'm saying?
Would you like a reminder?
Yeah, sure.
Play some.
Hey, yo, listen, yo, I love it all. I love it all, man.
I like when you like this, Daddy.
Where you put my bag?
Daddy, I like when you scrambling and scraping.
That was you.
Scrambling.
What? You said, I like when you do it like that, Daddy. When you scrambling and scraping for.
Hey, man.
He's like, I don't know what I was talking about.
Hey. Nah. I mean, I was
You don't
caught,
go back and look at that stuff and laugh?
I mean, it could be funny. I don't really be on it like that.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's nothing wrong if Diddy was just gay. But when you keep in mind that he was doing this outwardly straight, comfortable in my sexuality persona, and then behind the scenes was allegedly committing SAs, sometimes with men, it starts to make more sense.
I asked 50 about that. And he said you did the same thing to him. You asked him to take him shopping.
Yeah, I thought he needed some clothes. What? I'm a nice guy.
Yo, why are you and 50?
Hey, yo.
Why y'all not?
Hey, yo, I don't have no beef with
I don't know why.
With Fifth. He loves me.
Then they asked him about some of 50's comments.
I don't even think of no other man. Besides, if I'm thinking about another man, I'm thinking about uplifting.
Now, this is one of the few things that someone said about Diddy before the allegations came out that kind of spoke on what he was up to. Because if you didn't know, Diddy has been accused of forcing girls to have sex with male prostitutes while he watched and filmed, alongside trying to make the producer Lil Rod have sex with other men. Most recently, 50 has been one of the main celebrities speaking out about the Diddy situation, as he does with pretty much every other situation. He explained that he never went to any of Diddy's parties and always thought it was weird.
So was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day? Obviously, I know what was going on there, but is there a reason you never did?
I'm just not with all that freak shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal.
50 also explained in the interview why he is the only person speaking out, suggesting that others who haven't spoken out are doing so because they were involved.
So you have something huge coming up, which is a documentary about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know
He did it.
you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now, and then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy. I mean,
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
Like you heard in that clip, 50 is planning on making a docu-series on Netflix called Diddy Do It, and he's talked about it in an interview with Variety. Him and the director, Alexandria Stapleton, said, "This is a story with significant human impact. It is a complex narrative spanning decades, not just headlines or clips seen so far. While the allegations are disturbing, we urge all to remember that Sean Combs' story is not the full story of hip-hop and its culture. We aim to ensure that individual actions do not overshadow the culture's broader contributions." Apparently, they're even going to donate some of the proceeds to support victims of SA, which is super cool. And another person who's made some interesting comments or remarks about Diddy over the years is Aubrey O'Day. Aubrey O'Day is a singer who was in the group Danity Kane, a group that was on MTV's Making the Band, and they signed to Bad Boy Records, which was P. Diddy's label, in 2005. Diddy mentored the band in a similar fashion as he did with Justin Bieber or Usher, except this time it was on reality TV. But when Audrey spoke about her time on the show over the years, it was fairly negative. She said, "We were scared to death with what would happen with Puff every day. There was just no room for error. Diddy was one of the most intense people you could ever work with. I experienced everything from race remarks to sexism, and a lot of it was scary." She also made some comments on the Call Her Daddy podcast about her experience.
I always was like, oh, Diddy is like so obsessed with Aubrey.
I just want you to look good. If you're not happy, you hate me, then why you have me here?
I don't have to have you here. That's one thing that we can make clear. That's one thing we can make clear.
What happened to Danity Kane? Why did the band break up?
I wasn't willing to do what was expected of me, not talent-wise, but in other areas.
And when she said not talent-wise with everything we know now, it seems pretty obvious that she was referring to something sexual. She even said, He's on camera saying how much he hates it, but he's off camera telling me all the ways I needed to be groomed properly. So because she didn't want to do whatever it was he wanted her to do, Aubrey was kicked from the group. Eventually she went on the show The Apprentice, and Diddy came up in conversation, to which Trump praised him, and Audrey seemed very uncomfortable.
I am a very strict and focused businesswoman because working for Diddy for 6 years trained me to have to be perfect.
Working for Diddy?
Absolutely.
I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy.
He expects...
Is he a good guy?
I don't want to answer that
Oh,
question.
wow. I think he's a good guy. I'm going to stick up for him.
And keep in mind that pretty much everything I just said was prior to Diddy's allegations. After the allegations began to come out, she spoke up a few times, like in this interview with Adam 22.
And I'm finding out so many times, even very early on, where Diddy was making comments like, oh, now you're f***able, like you look right, I could f*** you now. And things like that. I don't even remember.
One fan even said in the comments, one thing about her is she's always hated Diddy and never bowed down to him. I grew up watching Making the Band and always remember her challenging him and standing up to him. She's been telling on Diddy way before anyone else. And another person who made some claims about Diddy was Kanye. But the only issue with Kanye is that during this time he was saying some other crazy stuff that made him sound not so believable. In 2022, when Kanye was going nuts with all the Jewish conspiracy stuff and blasting people on Instagram, he found Diddy in his crosshairs. In October of 2022, Kanye shared some messages with Diddy, where Diddy said, "Send me an address, let's stop playing these internet games, and don't feel threatened, you'll be fine, just love." To which Kanye said, "This ain't a game. I'm gonna use you as an example to show the Jewish people that told you to call me that no one can threaten or influence me. I told you this was war, now go and get you some business." Diddy responded, "I'm just trying to talk to you as a black man, and I'm talking to you because this is hurting our people. Stop." Kanye then said, "Anything you text I will post. I love you and you guys are breaking my heart. I accept your apology in advance." So clearly it's a little bit difficult to take Ye seriously when he's saying some of the stuff he's saying, but looking back, fans have found some of what Kanye said to be applicable to today's situation. That's because Ye later posted a message he sent to Diddy that read, "I didn't like our convo, I'm selling these teas, nobody gets in between me and my money. This is my grandfather texting you now. Never call me with no bullshit like that again unless you're ready to green light me. Cause anybody who got that tea is me. Out of respect for everything you've meant to me, I'll be quiet as Virgil. But now I know I've hurt people I love with threats. Come do something illegal to me now, please." Diddy responded saying, "As soon as I land, we'll meet face to face. Send me an address." To which Ye said, "Fuck you, you fed." So people believe that Kanye saying he'll be quiet, asking Diddy to do something illegal, and calling him a fed has something to do with Diddy's recent allegations. And while this could be true, it also could just be another rant. He also did say something similar on Drink Champs when referring to Diddy and Meek Mill.
As far as Meek Mills, Puff Daddy, whoever, none of these niggas, all you fake hard niggas, fuck you. Hold on. Okay. All you fake hard niggas, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a because you can't shoot nobody anyway, and the reason why you got talk is because you did a deal, you fucking fed. You know what I'm saying? That's why you gotta come at me, because part of the deal for you to be a do all that and get out of jail is that you promise that you're gonna go pull my co-car. So y'all shut the fuck up about me.
So here he called Diddy fake hard, said he was a fed, and said he got a deal to get out of jail. Now personally to me it doesn't seem like he was referring to the Diddy parties and all that other stuff, but who knows. However, someone who's had really strong claims about Diddy dating all the way back to 2005 is a lady by the name of Karrine Steffans. I'm not sure if it's Steffans or Steffans, so I think I'm going to go with Steffans. I apologize if I'm wrong. Karrine Steffans used to be a video vixen, which Wikipedia defines as a woman who models and appears in hip-hop oriented music videos. In 2005, she published her book Confessions of a Video Vixen, and it was in this book that she became one of the first people to ever accuse Diddy of anything kind of crazy. This book was really controversial because she was just talking about all her sexual experiences with tons of rappers.
There's even a Reddit post compilation of statements in this book where they compiled everything she said about different rappers' dick sizes. So that's pretty funny.
And what's interesting is that a rep from Diddy's team actually tried to get her to stop producing the book right after it came out. Now, I didn't want to go buy the book and read the entire thing, but I watched some people on TikTok read a few chapters, so I'm basically an expert. And based on what was said in the book, Diddy was pretty weary of her. According to her book, Karrine had hooked up with Diddy before, and then was hanging out with him in the rapper Exhibit. Apparently, she said Diddy took her and Exhibit to a gay club, and said that Exhibit should be careful with her because she was the type of woman who would have you on tape with fingers in your booty. So it sounded like Diddy thought she was the type to rat on his behaviors. She eventually then attended a Diddy party months later with Exhibit. She said Diddy was shocked to see her there, and it seemed like he was worried Karrine was going to expose him for what was going on at his parties. That's not what she said verbatim, but that's kind of what I extrapolated from the book. Now there's a bunch more in this book as well, and she even went on to mention 2 label execs she caught having sex. She then went on the Wendy Williams show to discuss the book, where Wendy asked about the label execs.
You walked in on record executives having gay sex, or one executive having gay sex with a man. You don't mention that person's name. Can we talk about what record label?
No, that'll give it away. That'll give it away. But
what letter does it start with?
Not even. That'll give it away.
Let's continue with the problems. There was a party in Miami, and you showed up with Exhibit, and it was Puffy was at the party, or it was his party.
His party.
And when he saw you come in, it was like he saw a ghost, and he immediately asked you why you were there. He thought that you were there to blow up his spot. He then pulled Exhibit aside and asked Exhibit to get you out of the party.
I mean, I feel like it would be the letter B because there's not too many labels that start with a B, and, you know, Bad Boy Records is Diddy's label. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, following everything that came out about Diddy, Karrine has filled in the blanks in regards to her time around him. She said in an interview that his parties were like The Great Gatsby. Men in tuxedos, topless women in angel wings, champagne and synchronized swimmers on the outside, with group sex in the bathrooms and pills being passed around on the inside. I also think it's important to note that Karrine did say she wasn't one of his victims, but she did see some things. There probably is a ton more info to speculate on inside of this book, but like I said, I didn't read it. So if you're interested in the tales of a video vixen from the early 2000s, feel free to check it out. And another person who I mentioned earlier, who has talked about Diddy a lot throughout their career, is Wendy Williams. After Cassie and Diddy had a split in 2015, which I covered in my previous video, Wendy Williams went on her show and talked about it, saying some interesting things about the situation. She was covering Diddy cheating on Cassie, Cassie going to South Africa to avoid Diddy and to shoot a movie, but Wendy actually spoke on Diddy being able to pop up on Cassie whenever he wants to, which in retrospect is kind of scary to think about. And I can't show the clip because of copyright, but basically what Wendy was saying is that after Cassie went to South Africa, that it was sketchy for her because Diddy was so rich he could literally just buy a plane, fly over to South Africa, pay off the person at the front desk, and pop up on her whenever he wanted. She then talked about Diddy being spotted with his ex coming out of a sex store, and the way that Diddy was with women in general.
And one more thing, they said to me, well, Wendy, do you ever think Puffy will settle down? And I said, yeah, like most men who think they're playboys when they're young, somewhere around 68 to 78 years old. When he needs help with his applesauce, yeah, he'll pick one and settle down, and that'll be that. But right now, no, I don't think he will. And I think that he's like leading this playboy lifestyle where he's got these women in his life, like Cassie will be back.
And she was right, as Cassie did eventually go back, but after what we've learned, she may not have had much of a choice. I mean, the video of Diddy assaulting Cassie happened only a year after this interview. Then a couple of years later, she interviewed Diddy on her show, and this clip has had people feeling strange, especially after the recent news.
As the mother of a now 16-year-old.
Who I met backstage,
He did?
He's a great young man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. You represent a lot.
People said things like, that was a threat. He's saying play nice. And the way that she hesitated, you know that she knew about him. In a 2019 episode, Wendy detailed an incident where a girl group that was signed to Diddy jumped her and hinted that Diddy may have a hand in it. And she's had a whole list of other things involving Diddy, like when he allegedly got her fired from her, I think it was Hot 97 back in the day. But these are the main incidents that Wendy has said things about Diddy, and people have theorized that she's known about him for years, which is why she's brought him up as much as she has. And lately, like I said, tons of other celebrity comments and clips have also been resurfacing in light of the Diddy allegations. One of those people was Khloe Kardashian, who talked about a crazy party experience she had at Diddy's in an old episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
So who was with you this weekend? A bunch of my friends. Diddy, Quincy, Justin Bieber, so far French so good. Montana. Do you even know half the people you're naming? No. She didn't go to bed. I haven't been to bed yet. You haven't? I want to be Khloe when I grow up, Court. I got on a plane at 5:30 a.m. Go to this party. I think half the people there were butt naked. You would have loved it.
Ashton Kutcher, who partied with Diddy a bunch, was asked about it in his Hot Ones interview years ago, to which he seemed somewhat awkward and decided not to answer.
Diddy party stories, they're our favorite genre of anecdote, if you have one, yeah.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them.
For pretty obvious reasons, people have been looking at this clip sideways. And of course, there was the infamous Cat Williams interview on Club Shay Shay where he was airing everything out. This was actually from before the feds even raided Diddy and were publicly known to be investigating him, although a few lawsuits had already come out.
All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Even Dave Chappelle did a skit back in the day talking about Diddy's show Making the Band, kind of joking about how weird Diddy was. There have also been a ton of other weird clips and comments that people have been looking at, like a young Justin Bieber looking very uncomfortable around Diddy, to Usher saying he saw some crazy things when he was living with Diddy at 13 years old. There's been countless accusations over the years, so I just covered the main ones that people are talking about, or the ones that had the most substance to them. Now, of course, everything I have covered so far is just people's comments infused with some speculation, but if you want to understand the formal allegations Diddy is facing in both lawsuits and his indictment, I suggest you check out this video I made where I broke down everything, because I know it can get confusing with all the conspiracies out there.